pick is in for the Browns. It is Sheldrick Redwine, and as I mentioned, we talked about him last night as a possibility for the Browns. 6 foot, 196 pounds, from Miami, Florida, a guy who ran a 4.40, and here's from Dane Brugler's scouting report what he has to say about him. Last year, he was an all-ACC honorable mention free safety, led the team in interceptions, was originally recruited as a cornerback, and now converts to a safety. A 3-year starter. He led the team with interceptions last year. He's smooth, tracks the football well, and diagnoses well from zone. In run support, he's a guy that's something he needs to improve on, but gives you that flexibility, can play both ways, needs to improve his tackling, but NFL-worthy speed, yet to play his best football, projecting as a key special teamer who can be part of a safety rotation, ultimately ascending to being a starting safety in the National Football League. And I think when you are a guy in the NFL, a GM, when you get to this point in the draft, what you want to bet on are athletic traits, and Sheldon Redwine, in addition to having a great name, has great athletic traits.
Yeah, as you said, throw some wine into the mix, and that's certainly what the Browns have done. And when you look at the size, over 6 feet, 196 pounds, and he's going to put on some weight. The key part for him is, as he puts on that weight, do not lose that 4.44 speed, because that's going to pay huge dividends for you, and be a demon on special teams. That's how you're going to get your name on the internet. I used to say in the paper, but that day and age has changed. So with that in mind, understand there's going to be injuries during the course of the season, and when you get your opportunities, make the most of it. But I like the idea that the guy's a ball hawk. He has success in making interceptions and was an ACC honorable mention. And I know that doesn't sound like much, but here's the deal. If and when he gets his chance, all you have to do, man, is make plays, because the opportunities are going to be there for you. And then in this situation, with the way this football team is looking, if there are blowout situations and you get out there, make it happen. So I'm encouraged to see what he's going to do for this football team. But I know with that 4.4 speed, he's going to probably be put out there at the gunner spot and be asked to go down and make some plays on special teams. And if he can do that, that's going to secure him being on this roster and not being a developmental guy or a practice squad guy, but actually being on the football field come opening week.
Yeah, I think he will be. You have Eric Murray now to kind of be your backup at that strong safety position, and you've got Redwine who can back up at free safety, but also gives you the flexibility to play 2 coverage safeties, because we see teams doing that more and more, putting 2 cover guys. It allows you to disguise who's going to be the single high, who's going to come down and be the robber, and that gives some flexibility again to Steve Wilks. Sheldrick Redwine, the pick, and it's a guy that we mentioned in the 5 names to watch at safety.
Yeah.
Back a long time ago on CBD. Redwine is now the pick here for the Cleveland Browns. We'll have an update on that. We'll get to hear from him and talk to him. We do want to hear from you, 216-578-0092. And let's reset the Speedway draft board for you. Speedway, the official convenience store of the Cleveland Browns. Your last few picks here. Amani Hooker, the safety out of Iowa, goes to the Tennessee Titans. Austin Bryant, a defensive end out of Clemson, to the Detroit Lions. Here's one where I need my pronunciation guide. It looks terrible, but actually, when you get to the pronunciation guide, it's not bad. Yelda Froholt. I don't know how that's what we got out of there. Out of Arkansas, the offensive guard of the Patriots, Sheldrick Redwine, the safety from the U, coming to the Cleveland Browns, and Gary Jennings Jr. out of West Virginia, wide receiver, going to the Seattle Seahawks. We see John Dorsey right outside of our studio right now, getting ready to make their way down to the podium to talk about the pick of Sheldrick Redwine. We'll have that for you, as well as a conference call with Sheldrick Redwine, and then our talk with young Mr. Redwine as well, coming up here on the Cleveland Browns Draft Show, presented by Speedway on the University Hospitals Cleveland Browns Radio Network. Jerod, we talked about the Ravens. What have they done? Added speed. What have the Browns done now in their secondary? You added a speed, a corner who runs a 4.340, a safety who runs a 4.440, and is a solid athlete for the Cleveland Browns.
No doubt about it. You cannot. Now, if a guy's running the 4.5s and has excellent coverage skills and skill set, I get that. But the name of the game is creating mismatches, and you have to counter that. So if you're in your division, they're going with speed. What do? You come with speed as well, especially on the defensive end. So I'm not surprised by that move, and it makes a lot of sense. One, it was a need, and he provides the dynamics that you want. Someone who has speed, someone who has size, and on top of that, as you mentioned, coverage capability. He went to the U with the mindset that he was going to be a cornerback. He got flipped to that. So if he's kept any of those coverage skills, that's going to help him very much so, because now in this day and age, you want to be a guy that has the ability not to just tackle, but more importantly, cover guys down and around the box and outside of that in the second and third level of the football field.
No question. Steve Mallon, director of college scouting for the Browns, making his way down to the podium. He'll be talking about Sheldrick Redwine. And, this is a team in the Browns that have addressed what I thought were their three biggest needs: corner, safety, linebacker. We talked about it all week. What positions would they go with? Those were the three, and they've gotten their guys. They love Taki. Taki, he said, by far the top-rated player on their board at number 80. Nobody was even close. Now we'll hear what they have to say about Sheldrick Redwine, the safety out of Miami, who joins this team and joins, as I said, a safety room where you've got Demarius Randall, you've got Morgan Burnett, Eric Murray, and now Sheldrick Redwine. Again, adding depth, adding competition, and most importantly, the Browns have added speed on the defense in the 2019 NFL Draft.